Thanks for having me. I wanted to start with a song I wrote about how to look at life after you've lost something, whether it's a person or a place or just your sense of purpose. This song is called Fox Eyes, and we'll start with this. Rooster crows at dawn, hibernate instead. Deer eyes on the headlights up ahead. Migrate with the herd, circle round the sun. Hope that all the groundhog days are done. What to do when all the reasons have worn thin? After all, we're only human animals with fur and souls and skin. Well, keep your fox eyes focused on the beauty underneath, and keep your whale heart open. That is all you really need to love life. Teeth and sweat and blood and tears, tell me what it's worth. Temporary pauperings on this earth, when they don't love you anymore. When your own story is the only left worth fighting for. When no one's opening the doors. When the wolf comes out at night and there's no one left inside. Are we gonna be alright? Well, keep your fox eyes focused. There is beauty underneath, and keep your whale heart open. That is all you really need to love life. To love life. To love life. Thanks. So this being TED Talk, I do have a few stories and some lessons I've been learning lately. And I got a call from my grandma 4 months ago, and my grandma in her late 90s is kind of like the spiritual guru of our family. And I like to say that she's like Yoda, but then every time I say that, people seem to associate that more with, like, you know, the hairy ears and the wrinkled face than the wisdom of Yoda, to which Yoda would definitely say, that is why Yoda, you are not. And that was a really bad Yoda impression. Be prepared for another one later. But I was on the phone with my grandmother, and we were just talking and doing the kind of family talk that you do when you have something else on your mind and you're just talking to family and you're kind of taking the conversation for granted. And we were just talking, yeah, Grandma, life is good, things like that. And out of the blue, she just asked me, are you happy? And it was a question that sideswiped me. It came in through the side door. I wasn't expecting it. And 3 weeks later, my grandma died. And at the funeral, all I could think was this strange inheritance she had left me with this beautiful question, are you happy? And almost more of a challenge than a question of, I would like you to be happy, and so go figure that out, please. Well, a month later, I didn't just lose my grandma, but a month later I lost a relationship that I'd had for over 7 years of the love of my life. And then the day after that, the fires hit Northern California and took our home. And so I lost a lot in a very short period of time. And I started thinking about that idea of, are you happy in the context of loss? And how to be happy in the middle of or after a huge loss in our life. And I can say today that strangely, after those losses, I'm more happy now than I was before. And it's because of some of these things I've been learning. And one of the things I learned was kind of in that first song, and that's the idea that as you look at what's lost, don't forget to look at what's left. Yeah, and because there's still a lot of beauty in the world, and a lot of times the loss that you had, it actually uncovers a lot of beauty that you didn't know was there. And when we lost our house 2 weeks later, we all of a sudden started getting clothes and donations and love phone calls from friends that we hadn't talked to in years. And we started discovering that there was this wonderful beauty to be found in the middle of the loss. And that was the first lesson. And the second idea I had, which is really important, is to feel what you need to feel when you lose something. This is a hard lesson for me. I am the king of distraction, and when pain comes and taps me on the shoulder, I look at it and I say, do you know that Gilmore Girls has 7 seasons? And I can watch all of them right now. But what I would say about that is that your future happiness depends on your present emotional honesty. And what the danger you have if you don't feel what you need to feel is walking through life half happy, with the pain at the back of your neck all the time unaddressed, but you know it's there. And so I took the time during these losses to really feel what I needed to feel, and it really allowed me to be happy later. And this song is a song about that, and it's called Slow Down, Feel It. Tony the Tiger doesn't live here anymore. He turned tail, left town, trying to settle some score. He got a one-way ticket and a traveling case. He doesn't do anything halfway. Some say the circus wasn't paying enough. Some say the money was so good he started feeling out of touch. Some say his love started to feel like a crutch. So Tony had to find his own way. From plane to train, from town to town, he picked up almost as soon as he touched down. A voice playing in the back of his mind he tried to ignore, kept popping up from time to time. Slow down, feel it. Unless you let it hurt, you're never gonna heal it. Slow down, slow down, slow down, feel it. So I stopped by and laid some roses on the door. No flowers ever will settle this score. I got a one-way ticket and a traveling case. I gotta find my own way. Drive past the city till everything glistens. Pull over, stop, and finally start to listen. My ground of being, my significant other, rises up inside me, both father and mother, and says, slow down, feel it. Unless you let it hurt, you're never gonna heal it. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, feel it. Unless you let it hurt, you're never gonna heal it. Slow down, slow down, slow down, feel it. Thank you very much. Thanks. The third lesson that I have been learning about loss and about finding happiness in loss is that you need to love what you have right now more than you love the idea that you're going to have it later. And I had taken my grandma for granted for years before she passed away. And I realized that the reason I had been taking her for granted was I had this idea in the back of my mind that she was always going to be there. And there are so many of us that end up loving what we have now less because we have this assumption that it's going to be here forever. But most things in life are temporary. And if you knew that this sunset tonight was the last sunset you were going to get to see, then you would immediately go out and see it. And the reason that you might not, and you probably won't, is the idea that you have 1,000 sunsets in your back pocket. But the truth is that you don't. What you have is right here, right now. And I feel like with many of the things I lost, that if I had taken the time to really focus in and love them in the moment that they were with me, then I would feel less ache that they're not. And this song is just a little reminder to be grateful for what you have in front of you. They asked me to be the comedic relief for the TED Talk. I said, I have written the exact opposite of that. Fire and waves and forests, cinnamon and wind, pain and hope and wonder, trapped inside these bones and skin. Beauty all around me that I never stopped to find. And I can be so ungrateful sometimes. I hurricane through hours with 100 things to do, craving these few moments when the only thing is you. But then a bright screen calls me, and I leave you with the wine. And I can be so ungrateful sometimes. Finally make it back from all the songs and shows and sparks, and you are home from work and watching TV in the dark. Stumble through the doorway after tour for weeks and weeks. Drop my heavy suitcase, kiss your hands, your mouth, your cheeks. And the moon's a golden beacon on the ocean of your eyes. And I can be so ungrateful sometimes. But sometimes Thank you very much. With my last moment, I want to leave you with this. We have connecting the dots as the theme of TEDx, and I feel like the great connector in life can actually be loss. The one thing that we have in common and the thing that can bind us together is the fact that we've all lost something. We might have found something different, but we know what it is to lose something, and we can connect with each other around that ache and find the answer together. And if my grandma were to call me again right now and ask me if I was happy, I would be able to tell her, yes, I am happy. To which, I hope if she knows my humor, she would say, in her worst Yoda impression, learn some lessons you have. Thank you very much.